Mr. Phillips, thank you very much for your time this Sunday afternoon. So, when we commemorate Water Month in South Africa, within its context of being a water-scarce country, we look at a number of challenges that we've been reporting on regularly here at ENCA, and those problems generally are infrastructure problems, access problems, but while that's part of the daily reality for many South Africans, there are many people behind the scenes working hard to try and facilitate longevity of water supply, quality of water supply, to ensure that we will have water access for South Africans come 2030. How does the picture look in general? Are we in a good place, or is the situation very worrying?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and your listeners and the viewers. It's a mixed picture. We're not in a water crisis, but we are a water scarce country, and we do run a risk that in the future, especially with climate change and increased droughts due to climate change, water might become a constraint to economic development in South Africa. So there's a need for us to build more water storage facilities such as dams, and we're currently working on the next phase of the Lesotho Highlands scheme, amongst others, to provide more water to Gauteng, for example. That requires a lot of money to build that additional water infrastructure. But as a country, we all need to use water much more sparingly. Municipalities need to reduce leaks, water leaks. People need to use water more sparingly, and industries and agriculture in particular need to make more efficient use of water. The second challenge that we have is that there's still some communities who are not yet supplied with water, particularly in rural areas, who don't yet have pipes reticulated to where they're living and don't yet have water connections through the pipes to taps in their houses. And then the third key problem that we have is that water infrastructure, particularly at municipal level, is not being maintained and operated adequately, and that's resulting in sometimes people experiencing unreliability in terms of their water supply and problems with the quality of their water supply.
I want to jump in and ask you specifically about that infrastructure maintenance at municipal level. Is the failure to do so due to incompetence or cadre deployment? We've heard these reasons being given by many people we've spoken to before. What's your take on it?
There are a variety of causes for it. Poor governance at municipal level is one of the key issues, and sometimes a lack of skills at municipal level is a key issue. But municipalities need to address a range of issues. They need to improve their billing and revenue collection so that they can obtain enough revenue from the sale of water to adequately maintain and develop the water supply systems. Then they need to make sure that they don't lose a lot of water due to leaks, and for that they need to know exactly, they need to have all the meters in place so they can know exactly where they're losing water. And then they need to have the skills and the systems in place to properly manage their water supply systems.
Let's look at a slightly bigger picture. There are several groundwater projects being looked at in specifically Cape Town. Should we be concerned in any way about groundwater depletion in South Africa?
Yes, because South Africa is a water-scarce country, we're nearing the limits of how much water we can get from surface water. So it's very important for us to make more use of the groundwater that we have as well. But we need to do so sustainably. And as a department, we're busy finalizing guidelines and regulations to ensure that as there's more use of groundwater in the country, it's done sustainably, that the groundwater is not polluted, and that also it's abstracted at a rate in which it can be replenished.
So I want to look as well at the agriculture sector. Absolutely necessary for food security. Water plays a vital role there. Not all farmers rely on irrigation. Some do rely on rainwater. But irrigation plays a big role in terms of making sure that we have all the necessary commodities. How are we doing in terms of water provision and water rights for the agriculture sector? Is that being done sustainably, do you feel?
Yes, well, agriculture is the biggest user of water in South Africa. It uses about 60% of the water used in South Africa. So it's very important for us to work together with organized agriculture to make sure that agriculture uses water more efficiently. And in that regard, that's been one of the focus areas of the work that we've been doing in our collaboration with the private sector through the Strategic Water Partnerships Network, or SWPN, which we celebrated the 10th anniversary for a couple of days ago as part of National Water Week.
So that the Strategic Water Partners Network is quite important. How has that been faring?
It's been faring very well, and we want to scale it up. Government is generally struggling in South Africa to, on its own, get the necessary finance and management capacity and skills to do all the work that is required in the water sector. So it's very important that we partner with the private sector and obtain private sector finance, and also utilize the management skills and technical expertise which is in the private sector a lot more. So in that regard, we are working on a number of programs together with the organized private sector. In various provinces, we're working with the mines and organized agriculture to jointly invest in major water infrastructure projects. And then we are also working with the President's Infrastructure Fund for projects which can't be completely commercially viable on their own. We are going to be having a mix of government funding and commercial finance to help do it. And then we're also partnering with smaller companies throughout the country through our provincial offices, we identify things that need to be fixed, which municipalities are struggling to fix, or where municipalities are struggling with skills, for example, or they've been struggling to get, say, a pump for a borehole working somewhere. We're going to be partnering with the private sector across the country, where we're calling on private sector companies as part of their social responsibility to assist us to address such issues.
The third edition of the National Water Resources Strategy was approved for publication and public comment by Cabinet in February. Is that publication out and available to the public, and what is the public comment process around that?
Yes, it is out and available. The Gazette does indicate where comments can be sent to, and there's a couple of months available for the public to send us comments before the strategy is finalized. It provides a broad strategy for how we're going to move forward to manage our water resources in such a way that water doesn't become the constraint to economic growth that it could become if we don't manage it effectively.
Thank you so much for speaking to us and for your insights. That was Director General of the Water and Sanitation Department, Phillips, as we come to the end of Water Month.